Now, just the final point I'll make in this is I said this to you guys early on, and I'll say it again for you, okay? I think the VP will either be Gretchen Whitmer or Amy Klobuchar. Now, one of the reasons I say that is because Biden has said repeatedly now, and it started in one of the debates with Bernie, he said, I promise to put a black woman on the Supreme Court. Now, in corporate Democrat speak, what that means is, hey guys, don't get mad at me when I don't pick a black woman for VP, because I already said I'm going to put a black woman on the Supreme Court. So don't get mad like I didn't check the identity quota boxes. I'm going to do it, but a black woman will be on the Supreme Court, not the VP. So when he said that, when he said publicly, I'll pick a black woman for the Supreme Court, that was the signal. That was the hint. I'm not picking a black woman for VP. And so he already said I'm going to pick a woman. So I think it's either going to be Gretchen Whitmer or Amy Klobuchar. They're outsider chance on Kamala Harris, outsider chance on Elizabeth Warren, but I really think it's going to be Gretchen Whitmer or Amy Klobuchar. That's what I think. I could be wrong. Between Whitmer and Klobuchar, I'm actually 50-50. I don't know which of the two, but in the case of Klobuchar, I think it's possible Biden promised her the VP position to get her to drop out and endorse him on Bloody Monday right before Super Tuesday, which led to the Biden landslide victories. Remember, if it wasn't for Beto O'Rourke, but more importantly, Mayor Pete and Amy Klobuchar dropping out and endorsing Biden at that last minute, Bernie almost certainly would have won. Almost certainly would have won. Because Biden was, way back in the field, and they needed to kind of consolidate that centrist vote, and they did. They did at the last minute. But I think Klobuchar could have pulled a card saying, I'm not going to drop out. I'm going to stay in. Unless what? Unless you pick me for VP. And there was a moment already on the campaign trail where Klobuchar slipped up and said, I'm very happy to join this ticket. And then she backpedaled and she was like, no, I mean, and she said something else. So I think it's either Klobuchar or Whitmer. The reason why it would be Whitmer is because she's from a swing state that Biden would really want to win. And the logic of the campaign would be, oh, she'll help us win. I think it's Michigan. She'll help us win Michigan, so pick her because we got to win Michigan. And also, she's the son of an insurance executive or insurance vice president, health insurance vice president, so she's sufficiently corrupt. So it's one or the other, I think. But hey, we'll see. Time will tell. I could be wrong. More than happy to be corrected, obviously, if I'm wrong. It's really no big deal. But that's what I think. And poor Stacey. Poor Stacey just got her heart ripped out on national TV.
If Joe Biden is telegraphing, because again, these stories don't go out without the campaign leaking it to their preferred media outlets. Joe Biden's campaign leaked this out so that people would know that's their strategy to appeal to moderate Republicans, never Trump Republicans. They're not appealing to progressives. Who amongst us, I already thought it was going to be her, who amongst us thinks Joe Biden's vice presidential pick is not going to be Amy Klobuchar? If he's playing to Republicans, if he's playing to moderate Republicans and never Trumpers, well, they love them some Amy Klobuchar. Not Kamala Harris, not Stacey Abrams, not Gretchen Whitmer. They love Amy Klobuchar because she's another Republican in Democrat clothing.
So I actually have to give credit to both the Young Turks and also David Pakman, because I initially went to look for them as well. I don't want to make it look like I'm picking on Status Quo or Secular Talk, because I'm not. And both of them took, referring to David Pakman and the Young Turks, a really moderate approach where they stated who they thought it could be, but they didn't say anything definitive. This is why there's a clip of David mentioning that he has 3 people it could likely be, and one of them is Harris, which turned out to be true. And it seems like with progressives, at least among those two outlets, there was a basic idea of, we've been wrong about the outcome of this primary. Let's not be wrong any more than we've already been. And the reason the stuff with Kyle and Jordan stood out to me so much is because they're doing something that I consider not dangerous, but really disillusioning, where it's basically they overthink things. So in the clip, you see Kyle mention how, oh, well, Biden said he would put a black woman on the court, and that was signaling that he would renege on putting a black woman as his VP. You know, what really gets me about that analysis of his is that him and Jordan, they both do the same thing, where they, along with most of the other progressives, talk about identity politics, where it's this idea of having a person who has similar ideology to another person, but they're able to trick you into thinking you're getting some kind of diverse group of people by them being different races. So, for example, let's say Biden picked, I don't know, Nina Turner. That was somebody that people like to float out, even though, again, the only thing she's done is give some speeches, but whatever, we can discuss her another day. And let's say that she opposed, I don't know, staying in Afghanistan, which he apparently also does, but let's say he secretly supports staying there. And this would be a diversity of thought and also a diversity of race. But if Biden picks someone that wants to stay in Afghanistan, whether that's Susan Rice, who I don't know if she actually wants to stay there, but she was also on the short list to become VP. It would be a diversity of race, but not of ideas. But the media would take it and say, oh, this is so diverse, even though these people agree on this issue, because they're of different ethnicities. This is so different. And that's what really saddens me about the coverage by Jordan and Kyle, that they know instinctively that one of the easiest things a candidate for office can do is pick someone of a certain race. That it's one of the simplest, least taxing things a candidate can do. This is why you saw this big push for Biden to pick a woman of color. You know, it's not that difficult, because there are a lot of people who are, whether it's black, Hispanic, whatever, that have different belief systems and are in both parties, especially the Democratic Party. You have some black progressives, some black moderates, Hispanic progressives. So when you know that these people are aware of the fact that diversity of thought and the ability to suppress it by picking someone who is of a different race is something that is so easy to do for these candidates, it's really befuddling that they would think, oh, well, you know, he's really going to pick this, lady that he might agree with on more stuff, but will not satisfy even the moderate Democrats, because a lot of them were pushing for Harris as well. She actually came up, I think it was in second place during a poll that they did, where Warren was in first place. And by the way, another thing that was left out of these two clips is that David Pakman actually mentioned how you saw this group of people who were saying they should pick this person, that person, and that most people don't actually vote for the VP. So it's just funny that they would think Biden would say, hey, I know it's very easy to pick someone who's black that agrees with me. Let me make this race a million times harder and pick someone who's white or, not a minority, and not even give off the appearance of being diverse. Because people don't seem to recognize this, but Biden has been able to really shield himself by surrounding himself with black people from like the, people are saying he's racist, segregationist, all that stuff. You don't get to be the VP of the first black president and not be able to, get away with doing certain things as a result of that. And then I think it was Biden's campaign co-chair is one of the few African Americans in the House, which, nothing's wrong about that, but I'm simply saying that it's really funny that he surrounds himself with a lot of black people, in positions of power in his campaign and endorsements and whatnot. And then these guys think for some reason he's going to renege on their support by picking someone who isn't like just, I don't know where they came up with these theories where it made sense to them that they're either going to pick a moderate Democrat who is really, the only thing Klobuchar has going for her is that she's the, third most popular senator in her home state, that is, and a governor, referring to Whitmer, who was literally despised for the way she handled the pandemic in her state. But it's really funny just watching them speculate and think this is going to happen because, again, the approach I saw from these other commentators was, we don't know what could happen. We don't know who he's going to pick. This list is massive. It's got all these different people on there. Or it's not that big, but there's still no reason to believe it's going to be one person over the other. And it just, that's one of the things I don't like about progressives. They've gotten so used to thinking that they know everything about politics that sometimes they overthink. And this was just an example of them overthinking. Oh, he's not going to do the very simple, easy thing that we talk about of just picking someone because of their ethnicity. No, he's going to forego that for some reason. It's just, oh my God.